Guys, obviously, we'll start with the Detroit Lions. You see the attitude, the emotion in that locker room from Dan Campbell. That is one that they wanted. That is one that they got. Braylon Edwards, they spotted Minnesota 10 points right off the bat. They came back. Then they fumble. Touchdown for Minnesota. Minnesota has the lead. And then you come down and, oh, yeah, Jake Bates, no problems, right down the center of the uprights. And here you go. The Lions go to Minnesota and beat a previously unbeaten Vikings team. They are first place in the NFC North. They are first place in the NFC, top seed in the conference, and they are what clearly looks to be the best team in football.
Hey, if you take away the Kansas City Chiefs game that the Lions won last year, opening game, this is probably the best win that the Detroit Lions have had under this regime, not including playoffs. And the reason why I say that is they went against a team that was number one in the conference, number one in the division. They had to face adversity on the road. Tom Mazaway's Skull is a tough place to play. U.S. Bank Stadium is an amazing place to play, and it's featuring a 5-0 team. No Aiden Hutchinson, no problem. At every turn, here's the – and we'll get into it. I don't want to dive too much into it, but it just seemed like at every turn, the Detroit Lions would not let it go. It seemed like they were destined and determined to win, and they got the win. David Montgomery goes down, no problem. Jameer Gibbs stepped it up in a major way, receiving the game ball. Aiden Hutchinson out, no problem. Brian Brent steps up on third down. Malcolm Rodriguez steps up time and time again in that game. There was always somebody rising to the occasion. You mentioned Jake Bates, the guy that we saw win in the USFL, and we got excited, or the UFL, excuse me. And there he was, perfect on the day as well. The Lions as a team, as a coaching staff, there were a lot of things that could have went wrong in this game and did go wrong, but the thing that didn't, they did not stop. They understood who they were, and when the second said 0-0-0, the better team won this game.
I was watching that game yesterday. I was locked in. I was very down in the first quarter. I was. Gave up the 10. They went on fourth down, the fake field goal, the fake punt. They had it nailed. Minnesota knew what was going to happen. They got it. And then they stop them on first down. And then they let Aaron Jones go unmolested around the left side. No one got him. I know Terry and Arnold was supposed to be the guy there, but that would have been a one-on-one. Aaron probably would have beat him anyway. But they're up 10-0. And I'm like, damn it. My daughter, Abby's here from Grand Valley. We're watching the game together. And I'm like, man, I don't know, Abs. I don't know. And then they come down and they put 21 straight on the board. From that moment, I knew they were going to win that game, even after David Montgomery fumbled that ball. And that was a hell of a play by the Minnesota defense.
Metellus, Josh Metellus, Michigan
44,
guy.
Right? Popped it right out of there. Touchdown. Minnesota takes their first lead since the first quarter. But I knew the Lions were going to come down and score. But I really thought they were going to get a touchdown. I did not think that they were going to settle for a 44-yard field goal, which ain't a gimme. 44 yards is not a gimme. They kneel down 2 straight plays. I truly believe had they thrown the ball, it would have been a touchdown. But they probably didn't want to give Minnesota a chance to go back down and try to score. I'll take the field goal. I'll take the win. The referee tried to give Minnesota an extra play, which he did. I thought, okay, here we go. They're going to steal another one from us. But it didn't happen. And they won the game. Do you know I didn't watch the second game after that? I didn't watch the Chiefs 49ers game.
Loosely, I watched it.
Very, very loosely.
Right, yeah,
I was
same.
Outside. I was done. I was done. Because that game took a lot out of me. It did.
You didn't miss much in that game, Tom Mazaway. Not at all. One thing, Ryan, and I know you have a plan, and I want to stick to that plan.
You're good, dude.
But yesterday you saw the leadership of Jared Goff. Like yesterday, you saw leadership in Jared Goff. I feel like a lot of times we come on here and, we give him flowers, whether it's 18 of 18, et cetera, and we talk about what he's become and he's the guy. But a lot of times it's pretty easy in terms of what Ben Johnson allows him to do, in terms of what those running backs by committee allow him to do. The offensive line and how good is it? It's been the best offensive line in football for about the last 2.5 years. So a lot of times it's just him doing what comes easy. Sunday wasn't easy for Jared Goff, and it wasn't easy for that offense, but he found ways. He stepped up. He made plays. He took sacks. He protected the football, if you will. I think yesterday, more than any, number 16 stand up as a leader. Like, I was able to see it through the TV that this guy is leading this offense. This guy is leading this team. So much is being made about the quietness of Jared Goff. He's not a leader. He's not a rah-rah guy. Well, on yesterday, I beg to differ. I feel like in his own way, he was able to lead that squad, at least on the offensive side of the football.
We've been working long enough together where I think you knew exactly where I was going to start today because I was going to start with Jared Goff. Because I think with this guy, I think it's great that he read my mind. It's absolutely great what this quarterback has done here in Detroit. And by now, I'm sure maybe you've seen the stat. This Lions offense has more touchdowns, 18 of them, over the last 4 weeks than incomplete passes.
Jeez.
Now, 16 incompletions is what the graphic says. That's what everybody says. I did my own counting on this. It's 15 incompletions from Jared Goff. I don't know where they get the 16th incompletion from.
We'll go with yours.
I think I'm going to go with mine because that's what my research has said.
Yeah.
15 incomplete passes, 18 touchdowns as an offense. Over the last 4 weeks, they are averaging 35 points a game.
Wow.
That is all Jared Goff.
Yes.
This quarterback has been perfect, and I use that word not loosely. He has absolutely been perfect. No turnovers. They score at will, seemingly. It has been incredible what this quarterback has been able to do. And afterwards, Terry Bradshaw said afterwards that this quarterback is playing like, he got some pushback from this, but he said this quarterback is playing like Tom Brady for the Patriots.
Wow.
Hey, not to cut you off, you mentioned Terry Bradshaw. Did you see now on Fox? I know you guys probably didn't watch, but they have the digital guy. So when the guy's not there, they imprint him digitally for the Fox analysts, the broadcast. You know, it's Terry, Howie, it's Mike Strahan, the whole 9 yards. Well, they implemented Tom Brady, who wasn't there because he was calling the other game. Everybody was looking to the side. Terry was looking straight the whole time. Like, even though Tom's not in studio, you got to look to the left and act like Tom's there. Terry was off to the side. He was pissed. You can see like Howie Long telling him, "Terry, look over." He's like, like it's about that time for Terry, man. They know it's time to move on.
It might be,
but he knows his quarterback stuff.
100%.
Nonetheless,
he's one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
And nonetheless, just talking about end of game Tom Brady, you knew if the ball was in his hands, he was going to win the game. And I think you're at the point now where if the ball is in Jared Goff's hands at the end of the game, you believe he's going to win that game. Whether he does or doesn't, you think he's going to.
Facts.
You believe he's going to, and I think that's Tom Brady-like. He is the MVP, and Patrick Mahomes is here, and all great, all love Mahomes. He is.
Not playing well.
Patrick Mahomes has 8 interceptions and 6 touchdown passes this year. And by the way, they're still 6-0, so I think that's pretty darn good.
Amazing.
But Jared Goff is the MVP of the league so far through 7 weeks. 7 weeks of the season.
NFC for sure.
Jared Goff's the MVP.
Yeah,
right now.
Jared Goff's definitely your MVP. And Ryan, it goes back to what we were talking about at the opening of the show. It wasn't perfect yesterday. Usually we come up here, and that's one of my biggest issues when people who glaze Jared Goff so much. I'm like, it's so set up for him to have success. Yesterday it wasn't. There were holes by the offensive line. There were guys that got through. The offensive line didn't look as stout as they used to. You look at that left tackle yesterday, and this is like the first time. Taylor Decker, he looked hurt. He looked a little older. He looked like he was dealing with some residual damage. All the injuries that have piled up over the last 3-4 years, he looked like he was struggling out there. Brian Flores had his numbers with those stunts. It wasn't perfect, and that's why I'm coming on here giving Jared Goff that love, because you saw him have to step up in the pocket, move, adjust, get hit, step up, make it next play. You know, all right, cool, we got to forget about this last play. What's going to happen on this play? Yesterday, you really saw it wasn't perfect. It was not perfect for 16, but somehow or another, 16 made it happen. And like you said, I actually believe 16 will be the reason they win this game in the end. It wasn't 16 will have some connection because of 16 was the reason why they won that game.
Listen, they have the best offense in football, bar none. Bar none. Best football on offense. So Jared Goff is the pilot of that offense. And you've seen it, when the offensive line protects him, all he's got to do is move a little bit, he's going to complete the pass. These receivers do not drop the ball. I was surprised I didn't see much of J-Mo. So I think Minnesota kind of took J-Mo out of that. And then David Montgomery did not have his best day.
Can I stop you right there?
Please
just
do.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
This is why this offense is the best in football.
Because you don't know who they're going to.
You did not see J-Mo at all. And you know what? Here's Khalif Raymond.
Yep.
Here's 8 for 114 and a touchdown from Amon-Ra. You have no idea who is going to beat you this week. On any given week, you have no idea who's going to beat you. Yeah. As you said, Bray, David Montgomery goes up. Okay, no problem.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Here's Jahmyr Gibbs. You have no idea who's going to beat you. Khalif Raymond had a game of the week.
Big catch by Laporta to get a big first down. I mean, everything worked for that offense. Everything. And Jack Fox, phenomenal punting yesterday. Phenomenal. Getting him inside. Yeah, Minnesota had a couple of big plays. Sam Darnold's pretty elusive back there. He's a pretty decent runner. But you know what? They got to him enough. I hear they had 15 quarterback pressures as a team. Last week or the week prior to that, Aiden Hutchinson had that by himself.
Yes, we'll get to that in a minute.
So they're going to have to look at that going forward. But they got away with this one. Now they're going to get a little bit of a, we're playing the Tennessee Titans. So it's going to be a tougher game this week, believe it or not. Because how do you get up for the Tennessee Titans? But they'll win. They'll do enough. And then you got Packers and Texans. Get ready, man.
As you brought this up, but Ryan, I want to ask you, where were you at with the misfake of the Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell? Where were you at when and how it happened, the play, everything? Where were you at?
How do you feel about it?
The punt? I tweeted right at the time. I love it. It's who this team is. It's how they play. It's early enough in the game where you can come back from it.
I didn't care either.
I didn't care.
Like,
you do that in the fourth quarter, and it's a little hairy, maybe. I don't know, but it was early enough in the game. Dan Campbell, that's how they play. And I thought it was early enough where they could come back from it. And
he trusts his team.
I tweeted it the minute it happened. Said, don't care. I loved it. Because, again, that's who they are. It's who they are as a football team.
He trusts his team.
I love that. I love it, and I feel lockstep with you. With that being said, moving forward, not always at the same time. That's all I would recommend for Dan Campbell. I don't mind you going for it early. I don't mind you going for it in your own field of play, but not exactly at the same time. Not the first, fourth down every time, because now I think the tendency was seen, and you saw that special teams, they played to that. They studied it up almost like they knew the exact play. Still be Dan Campbell, but now at the same time, don't always go for when they know you're going to go for it. That's all I have to say.
Have you noticed? They played the Seahawks, and the Seahawks pulled the trick play on them.
Yep.
Now they play the Vikings. And did you notice they were going to throw to Sam Darnold? Did you see that?
Yep, the same exact play.
People are copycatting the Lions, but nobody could do it like the Lions.
I'm happy.
And Ben Johnson don't care. He put it out there. You want to copy it? Go right ahead.
I'm happy that Justin Jefferson kept trying to pass the ball because there was so much room to run, and he's an elusive runner. If he would have just ran, they would have been in trouble on that play. It would have been a busted play that had a big gain, if not a touchdown. But he was so determined to throw the ball and get those stats in that category that he blew it. He only got about a 2-yard gain. He really could have got at least 15. I'm glad he wanted to throw the ball.
Guys, one of the things I was surprised at was that, as you mentioned a moment ago, Maz, that Dan Campbell essentially played for the field goal, and not just any field goal, but played for such a long field goal.
44 yards.
It wasn't like some chip shot.
Yeah.
That was a long field goal. I was surprised by that. But Jake Bates.
They trust him.
Man, they do. And now he trusts him. If he didn't trust himself before, he probably has more confidence than anybody else on that team, man. That guy is lights out. He caught up with Danny Rogers from DetroitLions.com after the game. Here's what Jake Bates had to say to Danny Rogers.
44 yards separates this team from getting a win over the undefeated Vikings in the first division win of the season. How did you process stepping up to kick that ball through the uprights?
I think it's just doing your job. The offense did a really good job of getting us in field goal range, and then it's just trusting your training. I trust Hogan and Jack so much that the snap in the hole is going to be so good. And the Lord has blessed me with incredible people around me, my family, my friends that have helped me get to here. And it's not a single effort. There's so many people behind the scenes that don't get seen. But I'm just so thankful to be a Lion and be a part of this team. And the Lord has been really good to me, and I'm super happy to be where my feet are.
I felt good about it, and when you. We've had 5 games with him, NFL games. And then, when you see him every day in practice and you give him the crowd noise and you move the spot and I'm yelling at him and you just applying pressure, and to watch him, he just continues to make these kicks, you feel pretty good when he gets thrust into it. And it's not the same, but yet it is. We just felt like his confidence has grown, and he would just go out there and it's just the next kick, and he did that. So really proud of him, man. Really proud of him.
At the end of the day, you know what it is, Ryan? Like when you get to this level, once you have some success and once it happens twice, you know it becomes, I can do this. This is nothing. It's the same level that I just came from. Had a DB when I played in Cleveland named Davin Hiley. Davin played for the Cleveland Guardians, who at the time or the Gladiators, excuse me, were the Arena League down there in Cleveland. And when he got to the next level, he was a rookie, went through some training camp, went through some practice. Once he got in the game, he had an interception, and he had an interception next week. And I said, how did you make that transition from Arena League, because this is me being naive, how'd you make the transition from Arena League to the NFL, and now you're making plays, and now we depend on you? He said, man, once I trusted myself, once I had some success, I knew that was anything different, so I started to approach it just like it was any other thing. And I think that's what you're seeing from Jake Bates. Jake Bates had success in the UFL, had success before that, and now that you got a little success in the NFL, he realized it's the same uprights, it's the same distance, it's the same ball. He's got to keep doing it.
And, after I heard him talking about these Bible verses and stuff, and I'm not trying to shove religion down anybody's throat. I'm not trying to do that at all.
I went to church yesterday. Watch out.
At all. But because I consider myself, just so you know, so I'm just putting it out there, a CEO. I'm Catholic. I go on church, Easter, and an occasional Sunday.
Yeah.
CEO. That's what we call it. All right?
Not mad at it.
Our Christmas, Easter, and an occasional Sunday. It just is what it is. I whatever. But he, talks about these Bible verses that he reads and, all this stuff. And so we are freaking out. He is not freaking out. He's talking about being with the Lord and stuff like that. And I admire that. I admire somebody that's like that. I really do. But the reason I bring it up is because afterwards he's talking like this, and he's so calm. He said his mother has a faster heartbeat during the games than he does, just because of how close to the Lord he feels, and this Bible verses and stuff like this. And I'm like, so while I'm sitting there pacing back and forth, is he going to make it or not?
Yeah.
This mofo just walks out on the field right through the uprights, and I'm like, man, maybe I need to find the Lord.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
I'm
gonna tell you like this: to God be the glory. I've been praying a lot more, when I work out in the morning. Shout out to Planet Fitness. But when I'm in that gym, I'm in the hot tub. I'm always praying. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for KG. Man.
I know you are, and I appreciate that. You text me, you are. I appreciate 100%. That.
So I have a greater spirit, an easier spirit. When things happen, I'm more calm, cool, and collected. Last Thursday, typical me would have blew up.
Right.
What was going on, and you came pick me up. We still got the Hall of Fame. Something happened today in which I could blew up, but I believe in my faith, and I think you're starting to see that more and more with the younger Kurtz. Remember J.J. McCarthy and Blake Corum, as soon as they got to the podium after everyone, what first thing they're talking about? Talking about the Lord and talking about their relationship. So that faith, man, is very strong, and I'm glad that he has that faith because I'm getting back to mine. It feels good.